Okay, good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? Had a few tech issues that I was trying to work out. It's okay. I got you. I got you. I got you. I got you. I appreciate you. You should be hearing me now. Yeah, I had a few tech issues this morning. I don't know. My computer's been kind of acting a little bootleg all night. I had a gig last night, and I got in probably 10:30, 11 o'clock, and I went to process everything, and it processed really fast, but then the video wouldn't act right. So I had to reprocess it. And in reprocessing, it got right to the end, and the computer shut down. It just shut down. It like literally shut down. And I'm looking at this thing like, why are you like this? That's not the reason. Well, technically, kind of is the reason for the title of today's show. Why are you like this? Why are you like this? But I got it situated, I think. I got everything processed, but I burned that midnight oil good last night. And as you already know, I'm up early this morning. So I had a few audio things I need to make sure we were straight on. Had to make sure that we was actually hearing the music. Because yesterday, it was coming through real choppy. Shout out to my backstage producers. I really appreciate your feedback. And so I just wanted to make sure everything was good. And everything was good, except my mic wasn't on. But that's a simple fix. I forgot I cut it off. Sometimes I don't want to hear y'all. I want y'all to hear me saying all my lovely words when stuff don't go right. Like, burp, burp, because I don't have my beat button on. But anywho, we are here. Shout out to that chick, yo, back in the building. D-Rob, Toronto Riggins, Monique, hey, boo. Hope everybody's doing well today. It's been one of those years, man. And I kind of alluded to it yesterday. Dealing with or working on these attachment styles, it really begins to make you see things in a slightly different light. Slightly different light. Because you think you got it all figured out. You think you are a person who is forward thinking and independent, or if you, I prefer the word self-sufficient. But anyway, we think we are these things. We're confident, we're capable. And then we run across somebody every now and then that can just read us. And for some of us, it intrigues us, and others, it kind of scares us. I remember I told a girl one time that I really liked. And I was like, I see you. I really have I don't know if you call it a foresight, insight, or whatever it is. But I can take big pictures and condense them down to a small summary pretty easily. That's really something that I've developed over the years, and I've become pretty good at. And so I can take a big problem and I can work it out I can summarize it into small steps or action plans or whatever. But I was dating this young lady, and I told her I saw her. Because she says, nobody gets me, nobody understands me. I said, I see you. And she said, what do you mean you see me? I say, well, I see this, I see this, I see that. Blew her mind, and the relationship effectively ended that day. Because she did not want to be seen. She did not want to be seen. She was afraid that if somebody saw her, they wouldn't accept her. Fast forward a few years after that, I meet this little cute little girl. I think we affectionately call her B. And I said, I see you. And her heart melted. You see me? You see me? I mean, little tears were streaming down her face, and a little snot bubble kind of formed in her nose, you know. You see me? Oh, man. But no, some people don't want to be seen. My bad, boo. That was no snot bubble. That was no snot bubble. But she did get all warm and fuzzy on the inside. She did get all warm and fuzzy on the inside, though. And so dealing with these attachment styles, they really open up. They really open up who you think you are. And they show you why you are the way that you are, whether you ever admit them to anybody or not. You start to see, or you start to be able to connect the dots. And the reason I'm talking about this, I kind of alluded to it yesterday. As you all know, we have moved. And there's a process in moving. You have to do all the legwork to move, whether it's buying a house, renting a place. You got to do all that legwork. Then you have to prepare to move. And that's the packing, and that's the mail forwarding, and the utilities for the new place. Those things like that. Insurances. Matter of fact, I got to cancel the insurance now. Okay, later. Squirrel. And then you move. You schedule, then you move. However you move. You get movers, you call your friends. But that's not it. That's not the rest of the process. Because now you get in that place, now you got to unpack. Now you got to get adjusted. But don't forget, there's still a whole nother place that you have forgotten about that still needs to be cleaned up. If you want your deposit back anyway. There's still work that needs to be done. And the problem that many people have, and I'm just using moving for an example because it's our story right now. But most people have a problem with compromise. My wife and I, we are on different schedules. We have the same work ethic, I will say. We both work really hard. We both believe that a job is not finished until it's done well. So we have that in common. But what we don't have in common is the order of operations. The order of operations tend to throw us off. Prime example, December. We close mid-December. My wife's packing the first week of December. She's packing the kitchen up. Now I know up front, just face value hearing that, most of you saying, matter of fact, put a 1 in the chat if you think there's something wrong with that timeline. If that timeline seems off to you, we close mid-month, she's packing the beginning of the month, that sounds like it's right. But if it sounds off to you, put a 1 in the chat. If it sounds right, put a 2. If it sounds right to you, put a 2. And as you know, with all things, there's context. There's some context. And on face value, okay, yeah, 2. Nothing wrong. Oh, look, this is not about the sisterhood today. I stop caping for her right now. And stop being, look, y'all just hopping on this sisterhood train early this morning. And I agree. I just want to go on record to say, I agree. There's nothing wrong with that. Unless you consider the fact that we're not moving until a month later. We're not moving until a month later. Why are you packing the kitchen up a month ahead of time? And then be mad at me for not packing. I still gotta cook. I still gotta eat. I don't want to walk around boxes in my kitchen. Now I get it. If you want to pack your closet up, yes, do that. If you want to pack this up, I get it. And we had a lot of things going on. I'm not going to just throw her completely up under the bus. We had a lot of things going on. A lot of things going on. We were a busy month, and it was the holidays. That one color that you said, one pot, one pan. I mean, it was a lot happening. So I've learned what's an emergency for somebody else doesn't have to be an emergency for me. But I've also learned not to feel away if they feel away. Matter of fact, many of us get in trouble. 5 days worth of clothes of paper products. Kitchen is the worst. Yes, it is. It totally is. Totally is. And so I found something very interesting about us, about my wife and I during this time period. And it started to make sense. It started to make sense to me. We see things differently in certain aspects, but we've also learned how not to either be bothered or let that show to the other person. We've learned how to compromise. We've learned how to compromise because we discovered early on in our relationship that we are not each other's enemy. Babe, I'm not your enemy. I'm actually here to help you. But I don't understand this right here. So I need you to help me so I can understand, so we can be on the same page. And it took about a year, maybe it took about a year for us to both come to that conclusion. She is not my enemy. I am not her enemy. And once we have that baseline, we can move forward. Yeah, we may not see eye to eye on how a thing should get done, but is there only one way to do a thing? Nah, there's many ways to get things done. And so we're in a space now where my wife, her personality, when she gets something new, hey, she might wear it out the store. She has to enjoy this fruit of her labor, this thing that she got. She needs to feel like, okay, I bought it, I earned it. I need to wear this thing. I need to show it off. I'm the total opposite. When I buy something new, ooh, man, I put that thing in the closet and I save it for a special occasion. A special occasion. So something as simple as that. When she buy me something and she'll be excited, I'm like, oh, baby, this is nice. Or like, says a shirt. Oh, baby, this is nice. I like this. And then I take it right to the closet and I fold it up real nice and I put it on the shelf and don't wear it for 2 weeks. How you think that used to make her feel? Come on now. 2 weeks, man. Not a whole year. 2 weeks. But see, I had to start thinking about how I'm making her feel by me not really participating in her way of doing things. But then she had to come to the realization that that's just how he is. So again, why are you like that? And once you start to understand why people do the things that they do, it makes compromise easier. Because make no mistake, compromise is necessary in every relationship. Whether it's a personal relationship, a professional relationship, you have to this give and take game to make it beneficial for all parties. One person can't be the kingships tend not to last very long unless the king is fair. But if the king comes in and says, it's all about me, you bow to me, you make my life comfortable, and he don't care about his subjects, oh, well, he's going to be a hostile takeover at some point in time. Compromise is a necessity. Dang, Monique said guilty or I give it away. But Mo, you like, I like, no, look, I like what she buy me. I like the gifts. I'm not saying I don't. I love the gifts. Maybe I'm misunderstanding you. And I want to save it for a special occasion. I don't want to wear it to sit around the house in. I don't want to wear it just to go to the gas station or the grocery store. I want to go out and look good, you know, in good spaces. I cherish it differently. B said, a year I be forgetting I bought something for you. Yes, she did one time. I came out of class, she said, that's new. Did I buy that? Yeah, boo. You did. My bad. You bought it. All right, so what are we talking about today? I realized we did a case study on Rod Wave. And we did a case study on SZA. And so with Rod Wave, we saw the dismissive avoidant. And with SZA, we saw the fearful avoidant. But it dawned on me, we didn't really get a chance to do an actual case study on the anxious preoccupied. The anxious preoccupied. And so we're going to do that a little bit today. And tomorrow we're going to close out this whole series with healing from how to heal from your core wounds. Core wounds meaning the wounds you received as a child. We're going to talk about how to heal from those tomorrow, and then we're going to close it off, and then we're going to move on to a new subject, a new topic, maybe a change in actually the show's format. I'm still a little undecided right now, but I got the weekend to figure it out though. So the reason I wanted to talk about this one is because this is actually one of the most traumatic ones, the anxious preoccupied. We all want to feel validation. We all want to feel needed. We all want to feel like we matter. All of us are lovers, but we flip that switch and we really become fighters. And so you hear words like, "Who hurt you?" My uncle used to always say, "There's something wrong with you." Whether it was a girl, guy, child, boy, there's something wrong with you. Yeah, dismissing, Monique says, because there's a difference between healing and dismissing. Yeah, dismissing is in the same vein, not the same thing, but going down the same path as coping. Yeah, the coping skills are important. Because in the moment, you must learn how to cope with stuff. In the moment, you must learn how to get through the moment. But the goal is healing. The goal is me healing that little boy who felt unloved and unwanted and creating a new story in my life. And the craziest part is, I used to think I could do it by myself. But you can't. Change is hard. And if you think you're going to change on your own, if you think you're going to work through some of your hardest situations on your own, you're sadly mistaken. Which is why it's important, which is why I use the word compromise. It's important to understand that we have shortcomings. And it's okay if we tell people about them or if they see them. Because there's going to be people, whether it's family members, a spouse, even a child. Because a child will tell you straight up, look, I know you thought you was this, and that, and I did for a long time too, but the older I got, I started realizing, boy, that's some hurtful stuff. But okay, I want to go into it. I want to show you, how many of you guys remember the lady who played in the role of Boomerang? She said, "Marcus, I'm not wearing anybody. Marcus." Eartha Kitt. How many of y'all remember Eartha Kitt? I've always found her fascinating. And it was one interview I saw from her years ago. And I've been looking for it for a while. Because I just couldn't reconcile the person that I saw on screen with the person that I saw in the interview. And so I want to share that with you guys today. Let's make sure I got it set up right. Boop, 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 boop. Yep. Hey, don't cut my head off. Let me slide my big head over here so y'all can see. All right, let's rock with it.
Can anyone live with Eartha Kitt?
That's not for me to decide. That's for someone who decides to live with me to decide. Not for me.
But are you willing to compromise within a relationship?
To compromise? What is compromising? Compromising for what? Compromising for what reason? To compromise? For what? To compromise. What is compromise?
If a man came into your life, wouldn't you want to compromise?
Stupid. A man comes into my life and I have to compromise? You must think about that one again. A man comes into my life and you have to compromise for what? For what? For what? A relationship is a relationship that has to be earned, not to compromise for. And I love relationships. I think they're fantastic. They're wonderful. I think they're great. I think there's nothing in the world more beautiful than falling in love. But falling in love for the right reasons, falling in love for the right purpose, falling in love. Falling in love. When you fall in love, what is there to compromise about?
Isn't love a union between two people? Or does Eartha fall in love with herself?
I think if you were to think about it in terms of analyzing.
He said even the dog started barking at that question. Oh, let's go.
Yes. I fall in love with myself, and I want someone to share it with me.
All right, I'm gonna stop that right there. So you guys, you see why I wanted to show that video, right? It's a few more seconds, and basically, all she's saying in the remainder of that clip is that she's had trouble in relationships because, wait, how she say that thing? I don't know. I'm a little blown away by some of y'all comments right now, so it kind of got me a little distracted. But keep the comments coming. I love them. I thought she had a daughter. I think she does have a daughter, but she doesn't talk about her very much. There's a brief mention of her daughter in a couple of different interviews, but she doesn't really make any bold claims or statements about, you know, her daughter and daughter's father or anything like that. But what she just said was she fall in love with herself and she wants somebody to enjoy that with her. Now, if you've been in any kind of relationship, you know, it's important to love yourself, no doubt. But the mere thought of the word compromise made her laugh. So the question I got to ask is, why is she like that? Why is she like that? If you had to guess at her attachment style right now, what do you think? Is she anxious? Is she dismissive? Or is she fearful? Anxious, dismissive, or fearful? 1 for anxious, 2 for dismissive, 3 for fearful, because I know that's a lot to type. So 1, if you think she's anxious, 2, if you think she's dismissive, or 3, if you think she's fearful. Or 4, if you think she's secure. So I got a fearful. I got a dismissive. Fearful, dismissive. Okay. I can see how you would think that. Got a 2 and a 3. 2 and 3, dismissive and fearful. 2 and 4, dismissive and secure. What up, positive self-talk? Put that fearful in there. Dismissive. And so the reason I want you to see that particular video is because this is something that we all do from time to time. I think they call it projecting. We create alter ego. We create a character. It's kind of like my friends, my real friends don't call me Jamon. The ones who knew me since I was 12, they don't call me Jamon. There's another name they call me. And the name they call me is really kind of an alter ego. And so when I take on that persona, I'm a different animal. When I take on that one, I'm a totally different animal. But at some point, it does blend together. It does blend together. So we've all seen her. We've seen the bravado, or what I would call bravado. She's kind of being a little extra for the camera, a little more dramatic for the camera. And she was probably in that clip late 40s at that point. So I want to show you another video, an interview of her when she's well into her 60s. And she's talking about it. And now, this is where the rubber's going to meet the road, where you really get a chance to see a little bit behind the curtain of who Eartha Kitt truly is.
Of Eartha Kitt, if I say, from the book it seems, there is the very vulnerable, innocent young girl who was abused, as you say, and rejected. And then there is the extrovert person. When does one character stop and the other take over? Are you conscious of the two sides of your character?
Very often I am, and then sometimes I'm not. And when I catch myself realizing that I have reverted back into being Eartha May, I have
this is
to
Eartha May, which is what your name was when you were very poor, and your mother actually passed you on to somebody else.
Yes, she gave me away to a family that eventually wound up using me as a work mule.
All right. So you have Eartha Kitt, and then you have Eartha May. Tell you what, let me do it this way. Let me make that a little bit smaller. You have Eartha Kitt, and then you have Eartha May. What was the first thing she said? Her family gave her up. Monique says it depends on if she went through what is going on now in the industry. She could have gone through a lot of hurt. Yeah, we're about to get into it now. Her family gave her up as a work mule. As a work mule. Let's do this real quick. Wow, let's drop that one up there. And I'm gonna make this one a little bit, I'm full screen on this one. Let's take me down over here. All right, core wounds of an anxious, preoccupied person. The core wound: I will be abandoned, and that will make me unsafe. Also, I am not good enough and will be rejected. I am alone. I am disliked and excluded. I don't belong. I don't matter. I am unseen, unheard, and misunderstood. These are all the core wounds. All the core wounds. And then there's a bunch of explanations in there, but we're not going to go into those just yet. I know some of y'all already reading. We're not going to go into those just yet, though. But those are the core wounds. I want you guys to kind of get a refresher on that as we go a little bit further in this video. Matter of fact, let's do the same thing there. And I'll go over here and hang out in the corner.
And my mother gave me to this family because the man that she wanted to marry said, I don't want that yellow gal in my house. Which meant being an illegitimate child and also the wrong color. You are not wanted by the blacks, and the whites couldn't care less. So this black family, who had 2 teenage children, used me as a, whatever they could use me as a working person. And then I was also by the young gentleman in that family.
Are you? How old were you then?
I know people don't believe it when I say I don't know how old I am, but I know somewhere I'm way past 60.
But how old were you then?
Not way past 60, but I'm way past 50. But I was really still about 5, 6 years old.
And all that abuse going on.
Yes, and all of that abuse was going on, and I couldn't tell anybody about it because
5,
they would have
6 years
believed me.
old.
And the young boy, he was not the nicest kid in the world, and neither was his sister, who also, I didn't know anything about lesbians in those days. And she too tried. And there were times when the whole family was gone into the fields or something like that, harvesting, picking cotton or whatever they were doing, and we were left in the house alone. The two teenagers would tie me in what we call a crook sack. I think you call it, but potatoes come in.
Yeah.
They would tie the sack around my waist and then tie me to a tree. And with a peach tree switch, they would beat my bottom until I was bleeding, and I only had one thing to wear, and that was also made of potato sacking.
So you see, or you hear in her story, there's a lot of trauma happening, not just because she's not with her family, but she was rejected by her mother's boyfriend, husband, I don't know, which also means her father was not a part of her life. Then she was sent to another family who treated her like a work mule at a very young age. So a lot of times when we see people that's going through stuff, we don't know where they've come from. And so when we throw the term around, who hurt you? You have no idea how deep that question may be, which is why it is partially or so upsetting to so many people when they hear it. So, also in these core wounds, matter of fact, let me put that on the screen as well. With the anxious, preoccupied, it says here, if your emotions aren't attended to, you feel like you are being abandoned. But what happens when you actually are being abandoned? Because your emotions are a part of you. It is scary and hurts when someone isn't available for you. In a relationship, you may act needy or call, text a lot as a trauma response to this wound. But she has nobody to call. Nobody to call. She is lonely. She's being abused. And because of that, she's learned to soothe. I'm about to say self-soothe. Because you learn to soothe through caregivers growing up, it feels like rejection if they aren't available. You become dependent on others and derive your sense of self through relationships. You derive your sense of self through relationships. What's another one? This is similar to the abandonment wound, but this is more of a heavy depressed feeling, while abandonment is a panicked, fearful feeling. We're gonna read the last two. Because your identity is tied to external factors, friendship, relationships, hobbies. What do you think her identity was? I'm a tool, basically. I'm a whipping post. If someone doesn't text you back or invite you somewhere, it makes you think they don't care or love you. It's that constant need for validation, which is why so many of us are jumping in and out of relationships, or in our past, jump in. Well, I'm sorry, not Monique. Monique was a shy church girl. My bad, Mo. My bad. Wanted to lighten the mood a little bit. I know this is heavy stuff. And we've been doing heavy stuff for a while now. Most of us have gone through those bad relationships, those breakups, those multiple or serial relationships. And you try to be like your big sis Toronto there. Nobody's perfect though. Nobody's perfect. And the last one says, this makes you neglect your own needs and become a people pleaser. You will bend over backwards for someone else while neglecting your own desires. And so this is anxious. And so anxious and dismissive, they create the fearful. The fearful is a combination of those two in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways. So it's easy to see a person for what they do, but not fully understand why are they like that. What happened to their life? What happened to them? This Eartha Kitt interview is very good, so we're gonna jump back in there and find out a little bit more about why Eartha is the way that she is, or was the way she was.
And they...
Well, I can understand how following something, several years of that is going to mark you for life.
Well, you try not to have it leave a scar on you, emotionally or mentally, but of course, and even though the physical scars are gone, and you start talking about it like we are talking about it now, and you try to not get emotional about it, but all of a sudden those feelings do come back. And the idea of them tying me to a tree, and you're not able to escape at all.
And there is the extrovert person.
Oh, snap. So the two sides, the mental and then the physical. He said blasting gonna tell the truth, huh? Oh man. You see, the scars have healed. They've long since healed. But the mental damage is still there. The mental hurt, the mental anguish is still there. And it's those mental things that form who we are, or what we think of ourselves, our confidence.
And then you had an auntie, your mother's sister, who looked after you then in New York. Isn't that right? You went to New York to your mother's sister, Auntie Mamie?
Yes, Auntie Mame.
Did she look after you any better?
No. My aunt was very, very strict. My aunt was a very tall lady. She was about 6 feet tall, and also very fair in complexion. She's half Cherokee, very majestic looking. I was deathly afraid of her, even from the sight. When I first saw her, I was terribly afraid of her. But she had no children of her own. She was never married. And I think that she brought me up north to New York out of Christian duty, because she got a letter from the South that told her that if I was not taken away from this family, that they would either starve me to death or beat me to death or work me to death. And therefore, she decided that she would take me on into New York. But she wasn't any better. She was also abusing me.
You ran away from her, too?
Yes, but I think God certainly has his funny ways, because I was trying to get away from her, but where do you go? What do you do? I used to stay away from her as much as I could, and I kept running away. And whenever I had a few pennies, I could, subway was a nickel, for instance. And I used to get on the subway and ride from one end of Manhattan to the other, hoping that the conductor wouldn't see me, because they used to have conductors on the subways at the time. And
Yo, y'all hear the pain in this woman's voice? Just reliving this story. There's so much pain there. So much pain. I want to do one more piece. And I'm going to cut it in half. It's about dealing with the rejection. And then we're going to wrap it up for the day. Let's go with this one.
Within Eartha May, that makes me feel that she will ever be accepted. I don't think Eartha... I'm hiding behind the bushes, behind the chairs, behind everything I could possibly find to hide behind. Because I never have been with that kind of security within Eartha May that makes me feel that she will ever be accepted. I don't think Eartha... In myself, in my subconscious. And when I'm writing the book, when I was writing the book, I realized that more and more. And that's why maybe sometimes I am going around looking like the urchin that I really know I am inside of myself. and not wearing any makeup and not caring about what I look like. Because that little ugly duckling was always told she's an ugly duckling. Nobody wants you. And she's trying so hard to find somebody that says, Earth-mate, it's all right. You want it too. But nobody's done that yet. Maybe I have not given them a chance to do so, I don't know. But she keeps hoping.
But you must. When does...
All right.
When does...
All right, I'm stopping right there. That was a lot, yo. That was a lot. She always felt like when she hopped off stage, when she stopped being Eartha Kitt, when she stopped being, wasn't she Catwoman too? When she stopped being a movie star, she called herself a sea urchin, an ugly duckling. Which is why in that first interview, she just looked like she was just degular person outside gardening without a care in the world. People are struggling with things that you couldn't imagine sometimes. And so that's why the saying, the grass always looks greener on the other side, is so accurate in this situation. Because when you see her on stage, when you see her talking her talk, when you see the bravado, I want to be like Eartha. I want to be like this, or I want to be like that person. But you have no idea what that person is struggling with. You don't know what it takes to be that person or why that persona even exists. Ladies and gentlemen, I am not a licensed therapist, but to me, Eartha Kitt seems like she is without doubt an anxious, preoccupied. Without a doubt, she seems like she's an anxious, preoccupied. Associated emotions: panic, fear, numbness, emptiness, sadness, loneliness, despair, stinging and burning pain, loneliness, hopelessness, sadness, depression, jealousy, sadness, fear, stinging and burning pain, sadness, smallness, aloneness. I saw all of those and more. All of those and more. But is there any wonder why? Is there any wonder why she is the way that she is or was? The demons she's had to fight in her own mind. So many times we suffer in silence. I call it living in quiet desperation. Living in quiet desperation. So many people live that way. And they think nobody's going to truly understand them. Nobody's truly going to get them. Nobody wants them. And so they put on this air and they go on an attention-seeking mission. And they're pleasing, trying to please everybody else, trying to be everybody's friend. That Chigio says, and that's why you have to watch how you handle people, especially if you don't know their story. If you don't know what a person's been through, you don't really know who they are yet. That's one reason why I have no problem sharing, being as vulnerable as I do in these spaces, when I'm on stage or when I'm in conference rooms. I have no problem sharing because I want you to see me. I want you to know that my emotions have been so blunted through the years that I've had to make a really big change to turn that around to be able to do this. because my story possibly may give your story an energy boost. My struggle may give hope. But if nothing else, then you know I'm not the one to be meshed with. Oh, these emotions are blunted, but buddy, woo. There's a lion over here that just kind of gnawing on some old bones right now. But them teeth, them claws, they still sharp though. They still sharp. What Pac say? I ain't a killer, but don't push me. But no, in all seriousness, you don't truly know a person until you know their story, until you know what they've had to endure. Which is why I tell people most of the time, I don't judge people. I see what you're doing, but I don't know why you're doing that. It might be totally justified. So I reserve judgment on people, and I catch these hands. Oh, they still work. Hey, that's why somebody told me, man, you could be a pastor. I said, for what? I believe in laying hands in the biblical sense, for real. Y'all don't want to see that kind of church? Pastor squaring off in the parking lot, shooting a fair one? No, y'all don't want to see that. I mean, it'd be great YouTube clips, but no, that's not the Lord. I don't know though. Woo. Some people, boy. I'm a pimp named Slickback. But no, the people in your life, especially if you are considering something long-term with them, whether you're dating, your children especially, they should know your story. Not in a judgy way, but help them understand this is the way that I am. This is why I make some of the decisions that I make. Potential partners or partners. Yeah, I got scars. I've been broken a couple times, but guess what? Jesus flipped the tape. Jesus flipped the table, and he cursed. Damn it. Throwing these paws whenever. Look it up. Galatians 2, verse 3. Oh man, y'all wow. Y'all wow. Oh man. But I've mellowed out a lot in my older days because I am so vulnerable. Because I don't really believe in lies of for the sake of lying. I don't really believe in lying in general. But I do understand sometimes I don't want to talk about it right now. Nope, I'm good. I feel great. I'm amazing. But did that girl get your phone number? And she did. Most things I'm not lying about. If I'm tired and my filter's real low, I'm probably gonna say some hurtful stuff. So I'm gonna just tell you, look, today ain't the day, bro. I ain't got it. Sis, I appreciate you, but I'm gonna go over here and sit down in the corner. See, this is the old me. This is the mature me. This is the guy who's actually examined himself and saw his shortcomings and realized I'm not just a messed up person because I'm just a messed up person. No, I've been through some stuff. And at some point, it's time to heal. And so tomorrow we're going to talk about how to heal from these core wounds. How to heal. I mean, some of the some of the greatest lessons that I've learned in life. One was patience. everything doesn't deserve a response or a reaction. Sometimes you gotta let people be them. Sometimes you gotta let people be them. Matter of fact, that's my rule for dealing with people. When I meet a person, like when we do our first little meetup, which is gonna be coming up here, y'all let me know, man. January sucks. February kind of sucks too. March might be a good time to do a meetup, but y'all let me know. I'm thinking March, maybe April, something when the weather is cold. But y'all let me know. But when I meet people, I don't come in with preconceived ideas, notions, or judgments. I just embrace the person that you show me. And if you say you green with and you like purple dinosaurs, then I'm gonna believe that you green like purple dinosaurs. Matter of fact, I'm gonna tell the world that you green like purple dinosaurs. And then in 6 months, when you come back and say, "Nah, I was just playing," I was just playing. I don't really like purple dinosaurs. Matter of fact, I ain't even green. I'm blue. I'm gonna say, "Oh, hey, false alarm, guys. She's not green. She's blue. False alarm, guys." I let people be them. I make them as comfortable as I can make them so they can feel comfortable being themselves, because the representative only lasts so long. The representative don't have the endurance of the real person. So I let people be them. And then I'd make a decision. And then I make a decision whether I want them in my life or not. Which is why I've had so many 6-month relationships. The moment I start seeing who that person really is, hey man, I'm gonna just be honest with you. Whatever out there in Texas, oh, it's out here too. However you like them, they out here too. However you don't like them, oh, they definitely out here. So, just show up as yourself, bruh. I might know a few watering holes where I can take you to. You know, I ain't been in a minute, but you know, I can dust off the what's my man Boots? Fly Guy. Oh man, nah, you're not causing trouble, bro. It's a good time though. It's a good time. We'll meet up somewhere and we'll go do a big weekend or something. Get to know each other a little bit. All right, guys. That's pretty much it for today, man. Those have been the attachment styles. We've officially gone through all the attachment styles, and we're going to talk about how to heal from them tomorrow. So that was the secure, which speaks for itself. No need for healing from a secure attachment style. Somebody coming to accuse you of that one, run. Run. There's the anxious preoccupied. That's the one we covered today. There's the dismissive avoidant. I'm the poster child for that one. And then there's the fearful avoidant. We've covered all three of those and the secure. Honestly, we didn't do a case study on the secure one because I think it just really no need. You know what that looks like. Well, we think we know what it looks like, right? Yeah. So yeah, tomorrow we're going to talk about healing from some of those core wounds, and we're going to put a nice bow on it and wrap it up. That's it. So, as we always do about this time, 2 more days left in this work week. And I would say go out and maximize it. Finish the week strong. Close out strong. When I was in the military, there was this weird stat. And it's actually a traffic stat as well. Most people get in accidents. They could have driven around the world. They could have been in conflict for years. But it's something about when you're almost done. When you get to the finish line, when you get close to the finish line, you start to ease up. And then the unthinkable happens. You catch a straight one. Roadside bomb. Or you get into a motorcycle accident 2 miles from the house. And it changes your life forever. So let's be intentional about finishing strong. I don't care if it's the weekday. I don't care if it's a workout. I don't care if it's food. If it's on your plate, finish strong. Learn to finish strong. Finishing strong in many cases is the difference between someone who lives and who dies. Someone who's a champion and who's the first runner-up. Finishing strong is a good habit. So I want to leave that with you for today. And I look forward to wrapping this series up tomorrow. So shout out to my people, man. Thank you for being who you are. Thank you for being part of the family and the community. And now, my setup is there. I'll give y'all a behind the scenes look at my setup, but it's so different. Everything is spread out now. So you may notice I'm going all over the place trying to find stuff, and I still haven't got quite adjusted yet, but I'm getting there. So that's what I'm looking for. So if y'all see me looking around crazy, I'm just trying to get acclimated, y'all. But thank you for everything, and we'll see you tomorrow. Y'all be blessed. Make it a great day no matter what. Peace.